What is up, you savages? This is the Protect Your Neck podcast, and I'm your host, Dan Tom. Analyst is work you can find over at MMA Junkie as well as oddscheckerus.com. But on this here program, the Protect Your Neck podcast, we break down high-level MMA in a bit of a slightly different way. It's going to be an off week this week. Coming off what is a series of off weeks for me, as I had a vacation. I did not plan to come back to an off week. I just have such tunnel vision, as you know, with the way I'm wired to just the nonstop beat and my beat on this space. I'm like a whale that goes under for water, and I come up and fucking I don't know what the fuck's going to be changed by the time I come up for water. Yeah, so I came back to an off week, and then also had to take a break a little bit, even prematurely, before UFC 268, because my hand took a break, literally. I'll give you guys updates on that, how I'm doing, what I've been up to, and we will be going into a bit of a hodgepodge of recaps, which I'll do my best to timestamp. We will go in numerical order, in order of events from top to bottom as per usual on this show, from UFC 267 recap that I was originally going to recap on UFC 268 Fight Week, where I got taken out by the injury bug. We'll recap that week, and as well as quick recaps, as well as UFC Fight Nights 197 and 198, maybe a little bit of very quick mentions in the Bellator and final Dana White Contender Series show that was on the tail end on where I left off with you guys, or last left off with you guys. And we will get into listener questions. Of course, lots of happenings, almost more outside the cage than in, because it is MMA, and the nature on how things get reported to, again, the nature of MMA. It's kind of hard to be surprised. We'll definitely talk about that, because I'm sure it'll come up al natural as we will be closing off with listener questions. That's right, as I tweeted out via at Dan Tom MMA, where I'm most. You can find me. I'm most active personally. Of course, you could follow and like at the PYN podcast on all social platforms. Don't pollute your feed, and it really does help. I hate advertising that shit because I hate social media. But whatever's. And I'm probably going to be getting off of Facebook. Shout out to the Behind the Bastards pod. Go listen to that shit, the Facebook episodes. If you want to see what happened to, your friends and family, and maybe a little bit of you yourself. Really good episode, Behind the Bastards. Great podcast. If you guys learn the history and just learning about cool shit. But yeah, where the fuck was I going with that? Oh yeah, you guys could get at me with questions there. Thank you. I will be shouting you guys. And again, it will be toward the end. Couple quick shouts before I get into again a quick recap of just where I've been and leading into the recap of these events. More importantly, just wanted to shout out my man Dan Albert of thefightsite.com at typewritingda if you want to find him on Twitter. I shared an article of his, and I wanted to give it a more meaningful share to going through. It's a lot of stuff that, of course, Dan's talked about or talked with me about, perhaps even talked with you about. He is a smart cat, but he really broke down kind of the essence of Peter Yan there in his game, a real in-depth, long form there. I suggest you go check out. I'm going to go give this probably another share and tag things onto the episode, which I think I'm going to do a better job at if I reference something, and or picks, maybe not so much plays because of how it's structured, how I get my content. I know I was doing that for fun. We'll get to that, but I'll get a little better about that. So I'm going to give another round on that article by Dan Albert. You really should check out, give him a follow. Good dude, especially if you like boxing, and boxing and history and stuff. Really good with that stuff. And then speaking of fight site dudes, of course, I got to shout my man Ben Cohn and Ben's Meat, Ben's Beef Jerky at Agent Ben 10 on Twitter. I finally got some of his meat for some tasting, and I like it a meat. Very good. Another early 90s SNL reference there, I guess. So I wanted to give him a shout. So again, it's been a while. It's good to talk to you guys. This is the part of the MMA space I like. As some of you saw on Twitter, I probably was more active than I should have been on vacation. Dan, what are you doing? You always say you're gonna. Believe me, I know. But between my plans to work out, tinker on my car, what else? Just do other things that required physical and I'm not trying to complain. I can still get done with both hands, and plenty of people with, permanent worse things to deal with achieve more than me. I'm not trying to, all respect, not trying to, play a fucking violin. It's whatever. But I'm just saying it also is what it is. Like I couldn't do a lot of what I planned, which sucks. And again, not to play the violin, but those of you who've been listening, especially since like 2017 or so, know that my off weeks in this space are fucking cursed. Like I just need to stop taking them. And when I do take them, I need to stop announcing them. Because as you all know, it's just like the hurdles. I can't even like keep track. Like I was having power outages, internet outages. My girl's car was going. I had to go. Or was it plumbing? It was a car one week. It was plumbing another. Shit over here. It just that's just how it goes. I'm not even going to complain at this point, right? I'm not trying to play a violin. I'm just stating facts at this point, right? So yeah, that all kind of hit the fan, and oh my goodness, it was just like the dogs weren't even getting into a fight. Sometimes they just still get a little bit aggressive with each other, especially if it's an unexpected door knock, even though I have 2 fucking signs on the door to not knock, yet people still feel the need to fucking knock. Getting this ring thing installed with some cameras, that should help with security and also the alarming of the dogs. Still working on that with some training tricks. The dogs have been better. To credit, they actually have been getting a lot better. Aside from a little scuffle the other day, which was partially me Madre's fault. Still, shouts to the people with aphasia, taking care of people with aphasia. It's that's its own struggle. So there was other, factors in that, but the dogs are great. They weren't even in an actual fight, and they've actually been on a good track record and doing better, folks. So I almost hate to even bring that up, but yeah, it was just, secured one with the right, and I was like non-committal. It was like, am I going to do like one of those stiff arm checks? Am I going to grab a collar? And when you have a non-committal hand, that's when you can get injured, especially those of you who know anything about striking, or especially with, in the old traditional martial arts, they're asking you to really use your finger dexterity and everything for a purpose, and you really fuck up your hands and shit. Back in the day, doing some of those moves if you didn't come correctly, right? Which, the same can happen with a punch and all these things. It's an unstructured, uncommitted hand. Still, I just thought it was like a finger jam. I was like, motherfucker. And it just hurt really bad. And I'm like, okay, finger jam should hurt, but, not to toot my own horn, your boy's got a pretty decent pain tolerance over here. Why is it hurting so bad? And sure enough, I started having swelling, not just at the knuckle, but kind of behind it. Something gave way. Because I thought it was just the pinky and ring finger-ish that got caught at a weird angle, extended. And anyways, get x-rays, all that stuff, get in, thankfully, even though I'm just stressed out. And I had to call off work because I was traveling to Chicago, which I'll get to. It's a good trip. But yeah, I had a plane to catch, a bunch of shit that week, right? Just crazy. So like, and those of you who know me, like I shared with you before, I have this reoccurring nightmare since I've gotten in the media space. Obviously, it has to do with deadlines, but I'm always running late catching planes. And like, it's like giant tidal waves, can't find something to pack in my bag. So illogical to logical, like everything getting thrown at you. And it all seems logical whilst you're in the dream, right? So it was just really fun to have literally your dreams come to life at you like that. Sorry, I'm rambling here, but yeah, it sucked anyways. I was at the doctor and I'm getting, looking at the x-rays, and they're like, you look like you've actually broken your hand and fractured it before. When did you do that? And I'm like, not that hand. I busted the other one before. My right hand a few years ago. Like, no, I don't, nothing. I fractured my thumbs, but this was on the other side of the hand, right? And yeah, apparently there was just like a bunch of like old marks and breaks. Like he showed me that were like more clear than the one that just happened. I was like, oh, Jesus. Well, that explains why my hand gave way. And explains why my pain tolerance is, again, I'm not something I'm bragging about it. That, believe me, I wish I had a normal fucking pain tolerance. I wish I got drunk off one beer. I wish drugs worked on me, folks, but it doesn't. So they don't necessarily do the same way. So I don't know why. It's what it is. So, yeah, I had to pull the ripcord. I only got you guys breakdown videos. I did post my picks and plays as they got progressively shittier through the break because I was just having fun. But they were also shitty cards. And since I was having fun, I wasn't researching shitty cards. And by the looks of it, and by some of these results, which we'll talk to, it seemed to chew a bunch of people up because, and not taking shots or even feather in the nest for my fall, but as we'll talk about some of these results, there were some pretty crazy ones in there, some fun ones too. So I definitely want to get to that. But yeah, basically, I didn't get a lot of the things I wanted to get done on this break between, me breaking to like, people being on vacation, to, from, car people, work things, everything. Man, did timing not work out. So, I tried to use some of this to recoup, but when, you're around and fucking, I'm not outdoors like I wanted to. I'm not tinkering on my car like I wanted to. Not working out like I wanted to. You naturally get on the fucking phone, right? And then yeah, just shit in the news from outside of MMA to within MMA, bumming me out. And I made the mistake of, which we'll get to, tweeting about these things and not like crazily, not like this is outrage. You should be outraged too. I want the jobs. Just calling shit out for what it is and stating previous things that I've stated before. I've been frankly proven right on. But as you know, you cannot do that stuff in MMA. This is not a place, for empathy, qualities, concern for health, fighters, or human beings in general. Not really the space for that. So, we will talk about that, though, because, there are good people here listening to this show, and they asked about certain questions on certain things. So I'll just let whatever listeners come up. I don't want to fucking beat your guys' ears. You guys, because frankly, you guys know where I stand on all this shit. Again, it's nothing politics, no political here, folks. You have to be political to not be a racist asshole. That's pretty much it. Or call out racist shit. That's pretty much it. So, yeah. But anyways, enough of me being a journalist, air quotes. Because it's like the biggest insult these days. I'm like, okay. I'm actually not a journalist, but I'm still conduct myself. If you read that code of ethics thing, shouts out the Sound of Violence for sharing that. Yeah, anyways, fuck people. But hey, you guys, it's good to see you. Chicago was awesome, by the way. I met some good people there. Always nervous meeting the in-laws, by the way, but it's like, oh shit. I got along with everybody, which was awesome. Had some Portillo's. Holy shit, best hot dogs in the world. Hot dogs just don't taste the same. West Coast, we don't have any snap in our dogs, and we don't have any culture in our food. Hence why, most people from the West Coast think like In-N-Out Burger is God's greatest gift when it's just overrated trash. But neither here nor there, as I just fucking killed half my fan base by being critical on In-N-Out and countering the steering wheel of overrated. Top 5 most overrated anything, In-N-Out Burger, along with Elon Musk. But yeah, lose more fans, Dan. Wow. Why don't you? Tell us how you really feel. But yeah, Portillo's fucking awesome. And I know it's a chain, but even, again, Midwest, the South, East Coast, I'll take those chains any day over West Coast chains. I mean, we are just cultureless fucking trash out here. I'm sorry, and I'm a West Coast person, folks, and not talking shit. I got plenty of friends on the West Coast, and don't take it personal. I'm just saying, it's a fact. We lack history and culture, and it reflects even today within the food that we goddamn offer. There's plenty of good places in California yes, you can. There's good places in Vegas too, believe it or not. Granted, you have to pay for these, and it's not the same history. You're getting some watered-down version. They're either ripping it off, or if they under the same banner, it's like, okay, Grimaldi's, you can ship the water from New York, and I appreciate that. And you're right, that does make a difference on the dough, but it's still not the same as going to New York. And by the way, there's actually a lot of trash New York pizza, too. So again, it's both ways, folks. It goes both ways. There's overrated shit everywhere. Oh, God, you got to preface everything, don't you, these days, Dan? But yeah, man, I wish I had more time to eat, because, my fat ass, I need to do any more of that, especially while I'm injured and can't work out. But goddamn, I love me some food towns. So Chicago, I knew I was already going to love you that much. I got to go back, though. I didn't get to walk by the United Center. Hopefully eventually it'd be cool to go to a game there, basketball game, I think, are the Bulls finally decent again? I'm so out of the loop on combats, or on outside of combat sports, or outside of MMA, I should say. But yeah, it was fun. Chicago friends. There's like Hal from Chicago and other people I owe visits to. I apologize I didn't hit you guys up. It was honestly a quick trip, for family stuff. I definitely was just, I was just tagging along. So I wasn't going to, just impose on that one. But next one. Yeah, guys, I haven't really been doing too much of shit. I've been so fucking toast and burnt out, which is kind of obvious if you listen to me. And, I still am a bit. Like, I'm still motivated to come back to work because I want to make money, so we can all agree on that. That's why a lot of you guys are here. Even though I can't imagine even half that crowd that I usually draw is listening because I'm not breaking anything down. So you're just essentially, unless you care about me or my recaps, that's a real smile. And I don't blame you, by the way. Like, you shouldn't care. I'm just saying it's, y'all are the real ones listening to this, but me just fucking wax. But hey, there's a lack of content out there, so hey. Just don't take it personal with the West Coast and the in and out jabs, please, folks. People get fucking crazy about that shit. But yeah, I haven't been able to do much. It's been fucking burnt. But yeah, like I'm motivated to come back and make money. I'm motivated to work and stuff because that's just how I'm wired. I got to do shit. And I had all this energy to offload and anger to offload and like workout form. And instead, I just get another injury. And it's small. I'm not trying to play my fucking violin here or anything like that bullshit. Believe me, there are much bigger problems. For me, it's more of an accumulation thing. Just fucking these years of just having my off weeks constantly sabotaged whenever I say anything too loudly to the universe, or just the abdominal hernias, abdominal wall reconstructions, the breakages, the immune system. It just all adds up. Almost every test run in the book on you. I'm just tired of this shit, and I just want to work out, sleep, and work, and that's it. That's the funny thing. Like, I really don't tweet about a disproportionate amount of political things or inflammatory things. They just get a lot of attention because I have a stupid blue check mark. And I work in a fucking super sensitive space like MMA. If you can't sense that sarcasm. I really, like I was telling my editor-in-chief, shouts to Simon Simano. I don't like to, peel back the curtain too much. I keep work. I respect those doors behind the scenes. This isn't a big deal. Just to show you that that the support that I do get behind the scenes means a lot to me. To cite it, and if I want to go write a piece, in other words, what I'm trying to say here is I've already gotten those permissions from my editors and chiefs, even on sensitive subjects. Like racial rhetoric, so forth and etc. That does exist in our sport more than it should. But I've told them, to be honest, I know I may come off this way, I know it's everyone, he's a journalist, he's in whatever associations I get for being a journo or a media member, even though I'm not a journalist, but just being a media member, part of Junkie, whatever associations you want to attribute to me. The crazy part is I just want to fucking talk about fights, man. I just want to watch fights, nerd about the nuances, make some money as a gambler, have some fun, eat good food, work out, and be healthy and happy. That's really all I want. My free time, I'm trying to make more time to do off-road stuff. I was a person who never got the flu shot because I'm I'm going to stay healthy. I don't need the flu vaccine. Keep it for people who really need it. I used to listen to, I haven't listened in over half a decade, but back when Rogan's podcast first came out, over a decade ago, you bet your ass I was a religious listener and credited a lot of things that I was exposed to that podcast. You think I would, with all those things said, you think I would be ripe to just fall in line with the MMA crowd of just falling in line, going anti-vaxxer, these things are being right, but yet I get labeled and it's really. And I'm not even going to call myself center because those are a bunch of assholes too. I'm none of them, man. I'm none of them. I don't give a shit. I just hate racism, racial rhetoric, discrimination, phobias, transphobias. I don't like that shit, I don't know, man. I grew up with a lot of different people, gay, straight, different colors, and, I don't know. It just didn't seem like that hard of a lesson for me to absorb. To not fucking judge people just based off these shits. I mean, I call me crazy. That's just a basic ass thing, and that's at the root of the things that I get most impassioned about, non-combat sports wise. We will talk about the things that I get impassioned about here shortly. But yeah, that's wow, 20 minutes too long. But yeah, that was basically I know it kind of went everywhere there. Pretty unstructured, but yeah, that's basically what I've been watching and observing. So it's like I miss you guys. I miss being back. I'm looking forward to making some money for hopefully, you know, if it's for me, it's for all of us because I'm transparent to a fault on here. I'm looking forward to that, but like just existing in this space and having to scroll through the timeline just to get my job done, I still don't miss that part, man. And was, you know, it is my fault for not affording myself a break on my break too, but it's really hard to not fall into those patterns. You know, we all kind of have it. You don't even need the OCD, ADD, Tourette's, and the other things that I officially have. You don't need any of those things to do that. It's kind of, we all kind of have a bit of that now. And so, my bad. You know, I probably should have stayed off more. But I appreciate those of you who reached out. Those of you who missed me, I missed you. And even if we don't agree on everything, from stupid things at least, like In-N-Out Burger or whatever, I hope we can, you know, all still have some good times, be friends, and, you know, save the argument for the real issues, and not get so bent out of shape about the stupid stuff. Yeah. So UFC 267 was the one good recap out of all these ones. Your boy got paid. You know, I know I've been stressing because I've been on that borderline to withdraw. And even though, kind of like last year around the same time I was looking, when I took the time off, it was during another Glover Teixeira card for Santos. And I remember cashing really big. I wanted to name a part on my car that I bought with it, Glover, just because I used the winnings from that fight specifically to purchase something for my vehicle. And I almost went perfect, and it was, you know, I wanted to pick Glover. I thought I was going to pick Glover, and I'm like, Dan, you can't just keep running with the, you got to not be non-biased, and da-da-da-da. And I did that whole thing, and I probably overcorrected the steering wheel against my bias. You know, you're harder on the ones you love. I did a bit of a sadness hedge, as Phil McKenzie said. And so I went with Jan Blachowicz, but I went perfect picks up till that point, which would have been perfect picks twice in a month on not necessarily the easiest cards to do it, by the way. So that was pretty good, right? For what it's worth. And for what it's worth, made some money. I think I went 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1 unknown parlay pieces, but there was the layered parlay. I think that's what it was. 3 and 4 in props, but that's, 0 and 5 in prop round flyer ads. But still came up on top on that fight, or enough to get me over the hump that I wanted, where I withdrew, and pretty much done with Christmas shopping for like the first time ever, which is crazy. And of course, using the extra to buy some more car parts that I wanted and needed in some cases, and the rest, of course, to cover the time off, because your boy was already going to lose money. Tis the life of an independent contractor, folks. You don't work, you don't get paid. It's that simple. And we don't get paid a lot in this industry, like the fighters and the other independent contractors, which is, again, why I'm a scumbag media member who cares about that so much, you know? It's because, not just because I'm a scumbag, but because I relate to these fighters. And so, that's the game. So that's why I stress myself out, because, yeah, it's the money struggle is real, folks. So, I shouldn't have, shouldn't be conflating my for fun playing here with it, but, it definitely helped this year. I'll tell you that. The for not having the best, and I gotta imagine that's the case for everybody. So I'm not trying to fucking, say anything y'all don't already know. 2020, 2021 in MMA of all places, bit of volatile place to find results. My picks haven't been great this year, which I already called out, which made part of my, part of the reason, the universe, right? You wrote your own future. I already said I was going to have a bad pick percentage from like June. I already stopped looking at my standings. Which I believe I'm still going to finish toward the top, I guess, even though I'm like fucking just eating shit horribly the last end of this year, even worse. I don't know how that works. I feel like I should be at the bottom of the standings, if anything. But I hope John's still up top because somehow he hasn't won all these years, so he deserves to finally win one, man. Yeah, he's always towards the top, so hopefully he's still there. But yeah, despite me not doing great on picks, it's been a pretty decent betting year. I'll say that, and it saved my ass because there's sure as shit ain't a lot of money in this industry. So yeah, man. Oh, by the way, speaking of that and outdoor and all that stuff, I invested in a Sony A6400 for streaming. Not going to be able to stream with that bad boy yet because my Mac can't handle it. I haven't tried, but I just know it can't from the specs. And that, I already knew that as part of the plan. I was going to have to go with a custom for the streaming anyways, which is great. It's an excuse for gaming. It's an excuse for non-Mac shit, and so on and so forth. So that plan's still going to be. So you guys won't be able to see that like classic YouTube look. I'm going to be using, I already got the lens too, that 16mm lens where it kind of does a blur in the background a bit and really puts you into focus. Be shooting in 4K, all that good, glorious stuff. But I got to learn to use the camera in the meantime. And the reason why I went with the 6400 as opposed to the 600 or the EZV, which is like for vlogging, or others, was just because I also want to use this again for outdoor stuff to shoot and record video for my FJ blogs and doing that side stuff because I feel like that stuff will get more traction, both numbers and monetary, faster than the years and years and years and years I keep putting into MMA and can't, get the stupid things like 10K or whatever followers that I thankfully have stopped fucking holding over my head. Same with like getting the 300 episodes. Like this is 289. I had a plan to get to 300, but after busting my hand and just the way everything went, I'm just like, I'm not even gonna fucking stress it. Yeah, man, I just, I'm trying to gonna make it a point to be healthier next year, make more time for these side hobbies, especially these side hobbies. Who knows if they end up paying more? I fucking won't take me much to abandon this ship at this point, with this amount of shit that I see in this space that makes me sick. But that, and then two, who knows if I could go with a camera? That's just work right there. I could pick up if I could get pretty decent with a camera. Some decent equipment, so that's kind of where my head's at. Still investing to the show and to this future. Obviously, it's what I do. It's what I'm good at. But, making sure I'm killing 2 or 3 birds with one stone with these investments. Thank you for your guys' support. mixedmartialanalyst.com for that. But yeah, wow. Do I timestamp now? 28 minutes in, we get to the recaps. I guess so. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So we got Glover Teixeira defeated Jan Blachowicz. That was awesome. I got to give 10 minutes of Glover love. Jesus, for Brad. Shout out to @BrazChuck, the MMA analysis. That's their guy, man. They've been on the Glover and Chucky Olive's train forever. And for those two guys to become champs in this year of all years, that's pretty crazy. Definite shouts to that OG podcast. Some good dudes over there who I've hung out with in Poison. So I'm always happy for those dudes, and but more importantly, happy for Glover. I mean, you want to talk about good dude? Glover is the dude. Glover is. By the way, Brad, when I'm giving this Glover love, do I gotta wear a glove to give him love, or how does that go? Do I have to make eye contact? That's a big sticking point for me. No, just kidding. But no, Glover, man, he deserves all the love. One of the nicest sportsmen ever, as you guys saw me tweet, and John Anik was really getting that out there as well. It's just good to see, in a sport full of just fucking, scumbags like the media wanting fighters to get paid more. It's nice to see, like guys like Glover getting theirs, man. And the old guy thing, all that stuff, man. Shouts to Glover's Garage, right? And saying if in the Abercrombie and Fitch style MMA shirts with just like casual references, Glover's Garage would be one of them. Established like 1960 whatever, whenever he was born. He's not that old. Yeah, that was awesome, man. By the way, when Jan Blachowicz, when he said he left his Polish power in the hotel room, did he just like? My head just went to like, oh, his poor fucking girlfriend. Oh no. She took his chi, you know what I'm saying? Absorbed it. All right, easy, Dan. We get it. They fucked. All right, Jesus. No, I don't know. That's what I thought. I mean, he left it in the women weaken legs rack. Hey, Mick, I don't know. She's just a girl at the pet store, All right. Peter Yan defeated Corey Sanhagen. Again, shouts to my guy Dan Albert there at Typewriting DA on his Peter Yan piece. Excellent fight, entertaining fight, but yeah, man, that was the Yan show, for sure. Just fun to watch him. Sorry, I'm not going to really technically break these down. They've been so long, but there are definitely a lot of takeaways there. Makhachev just ran through Hooker. Volkov defeated Tibura. I probably should have leaned heavier into that in the parlay piece, but he was amongst the parlays. Khamzat Chimaev. I say Khamzat, and then who says it the following week? Colby fucking Covington. He stopped following me, for whatever reason, probably because I, again, me, I tend to post things that upset people, but yeah, maybe Kobe still listens to this podcast, folks, because he was out there throwing the Khamzat Chimaev, who just took it to Lee, man. I know I threw those fun little darts on Lee just for the fuckery of it, but yeah, Chimaev's good, man. I'm not hating on him. I don't see why I have to suck his dick and perform full fellatio. I just wanted to see him against a welterweight who can wrestle and is sizable, and everyone keeps trying to match him up with dudes who aren't known for their wrestling and aren't that big, like Gilbert or like Li Jingliang. He's got that R strength, but he's not a big welterweight by any means. So not only non-wrestlers, but not even sizable dudes. Again, it might not even matter at this point. Chimaev, just from the skills and stuff. And I've said this before. Again, it's not that I haven't. And by the way, nothing wrong with sucking some dick, no matter what you identify as. It's all good, believe me. But I'm just saying, do I have to? Can I just cover these fighters? Do I have to fillet every one of them, or do I have to fillet this guy super hard because he's the guy now of the month? I don't know, man. Anyways, fucking lockjaw of the mouth. Dagestani Stipe Magomed Ankalaev defeated Volkan Oezdemir. I don't remember much of this, but Ankalaev is I'm pretty sure he's continuing to win in that sense, making people who've called him a dark horse look good. I believe he's been on somewhat of a I might have referenced him that not specifically, but he's been one of those guys on the lookout. I know my man Bronstetter Aaron has been on the Ankalaev train for a minute, so I'll give him a shout for sure. Women's strawweight, Amanda Hibash defeated Verna Janjiroba. That was by decision prop. I remember cashing. That was good, especially after she lost the first round, because you would have just thought maybe she or confidence and gas tank. But again, a lot of these things not necessarily gone the even if the winners or the favorites won, not necessarily in the ways that you thought, right? So good on her to prove that wrong and show. Perhaps bolster her confidence. Maybe not too much, You don't want to run in there and get in a stand-up contest on the regular. And I don't like that low guard from what I remember. Zubaira Tukhugov defeated Ricardo Hamosh. Interesting fight. I don't remember watching a lot of it. And I remember people much smarter than I having interesting takeaways. So I will defer to them. Not much to say there. I remember sweating my balls out there. Although for Albert Duraev to defeat Roman Kopylov via decision. He missed that sub, which would have been nice. But again, a lot of these sub things, I will say, I've been whiffing on a lot of sub props more than usual. Those are usually my bread and butter. But in my defense, even when I whiff, they're going for them and almost getting them in the exact rounds I call them for in the positions. For what it's worth, they're going out there, they're trying it. That's all I can ask. But that cardio, decision-making, a lot of question marks there for Duraev. Elizu Zaleski dos Santos murdered twice over Benoit Saint-Denis. Of course, Vyacheslav Kieslev. I don't know if it's because he didn't have that Russian guy. Was it Grabowski? The guy who goes, maybe he didn't hear the whatever. There's someone in Russian tell me. Tumen, maybe you can tell me what the hell does Grigorsky say when he's when he's announcing all the names and they're always goes but Valesky, no one will Kieslev, no one woke him up, the referee, and he was just, you know, it was just gross. You know, you don't need me to rehash that whole thing, but like, it wasn't even about not cashing the bet, though. Obviously, I had DeSantos big inside the distance, and if you had that ticket, it should have cashed too. I feel y'all, but like, it was just more about just obviously the health and just gross, just the grossness. You know, no one could step in, and you blame the corner too, yes, but this, and I'm not blaming the corner. You know, between it being an MMA corner and the guy being French Special Forces and shit. I was not expecting a stoppage, so I'm not giving them a pass. I'm just saying that wasn't the surprise. It just the doctors failed and the ref grossly failed. And just a note, I kind of retweeted it when I tweeted this when Eric Anders referencing John Jones and Matt Hamill. These situations where it's like, and this one didn't include a DQ, although when the ref decided to finally penalize and take action, it was against Elisa Dusevsky for just the most incidental of incidental fouls in a fight that should have already been stopped 10 times over by the third round. Took a point that really upset people, almost more than the fight allowed to go on, you know, that point take. And so again, it didn't end in a DQ, but I did want to reference that tweet where it almost seems like in these fights where the refs negligently allow action to go on much longer than it should, that the person who is doling out the damage almost subconsciously finds a way to foul because they're just trying to find a way to convince the ref that this fight should be over. Let me try this move then, okay? He's not going to stop it. Let me try doing this. And there was a lot of that too, so it just was like, yeah, it was just fucking disgusting. That's our sport. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk defeated Shamil Shamzatov there. TKO punches. I should have played that, but grats if you got that Oleksiejczuk plus money. Lerone Murphy defeated Mahwan Amirkhani. I didn't see it ending that way, but I did say you're gonna sweat. You're gonna think you have a bad bet in the first round, and then Murphy's gonna come back. So at least that did happen. Petrosky by sub. He did it, man. He went for it. I didn't think he was going to get it. I already was ready to tear my ticket, you know, because it felt like he had trouble wrestling. Huge thug. Very huge thug. Big guy. Very big guy. You know, you like him, Trump. You know, by submission, arm triangle. By the way, Petrosky, you know, he's got, you know, I was joking. I'm like, he seems like looking at his social medias. I'm like, he kind of has the, and again, I don't let it stop my bias as far as picks or plays, folks. Like another guy I cashed on, what was his name? That Steve Garcia cat. I went to his social medias and I got kind of a similar vibe, maybe not as much conspiracy theory stuff from Petrovsky's, but like, you know, he probably would have been, you know, it's just funny. He looks like he'd be a part of that crowd, and then he has like the Russian sickle and hammer, and it's just, and we'll get to that question. Someone actually asked a question about this, and it's like, yeah. No, with this whole, you know, because we're back in the fucking 1980s now. That was my Iron Sheik reference, folks. You know, communist is just what you say. Like, it's like we're in the 50s or 80s again. It's just like it resurfaces every 30 years or so. And now it's just like a slang, but it's like, well, if you are buff, white, bearded dude or blonde, white, special forces looking chick, I guess you can have all the communist shit tattooed on your body, your red flags wrapped around you than you want, and no one's gonna give you shit, but okay. Sorry, preemptively answering a question there. I couldn't help think of that, but thank you for cashing the bet for me, Mr. Petrovsky. Tajir Ulanbekov defeated Alan Nascimento in a very sketchy decision. I wouldn't have hated if Nascimento got it off activity, but was not surprised to see Tajir win. So yeah, that was that card. Somewhere like 28, 39. 28, 39. UFC 268 recap. Try to go through this kind of quickly, folks. Sorry. Usman Covington 2. This was the week I got fucked up on. Yeah, I ended up picking Kamaru Usman to defeat Colby Covington. I'm not sure how I officially did it since my article didn't come out, or what I said in the video. I think I probably called for a stoppage, though, which we almost got, and you could arguably say should have got, but I didn't watch the fight too closely. I was at the family reunion at this point. Again, that's another reason why it was a short and sweet trip. It was for my girlfriend's family reunion. I was in Chicago. So I was just drunk as all hell, and I'll tell you the one fight I tried to make a real effort at in a second. But I had this playing on my phone. I was just so fucking drunk and like constantly just like having conversations. Like it was just, I wasn't looking down at my phone too much at this. Rose Namajunas defeated Zhang Weili. I remember just getting really excited at first because it looked like Zhang was doing good, and then Rose was just banking rounds with the top control. So I wasn't surprised to see her win, and from the sound of it, it sounded like Zhang Weili had an argument to win for sure. But again, folks, I'm not. I've picked against Zhang plenty of times before against other opponents who were racist toward her, like Yan Jacek, and scored fights after the fact against Zhang Weili. It's not a bias that bleeds through ridiculously for me because unlike most fucking journalists, I just reread that code of ethics and it just made me even more pissed off at this space. But I state my biases clearly. One of the few people who do that and still somehow give you a much more honest product. Go figure. Thankfully Rose kept her. I know I got a lot of shit for making that again one tweet in the beginning of the week, and I didn't do anything again because nothing else was said. Because you could tell someone got in Rose's ear, and she's just like, I'm just focusing on this fight. Like, you could tell she was already fucking coached. Like, Rose, don't say stupid shit. People are actually finally calling out racial rhetoric, much less racial rhetoric toward Asians, which was even less of a chance of being called out amongst the racial rhetoric categories in general, much less in this MMA space. Maybe shut the fuck up, Rose. I feel like she got some version of that. So, for whatever that's worth, thank you, Rose, for not flooding the airwaves with that, I guess. Should I be thanking? Either way, I'm trying, folks. I'm trying, okay? So that was, so that happened. Again, I just did not want the fight to happen in the first place. It was just stupid. Again, for everybody being anti-China and pro-billionaires and UFC and fuck the fighters, they're the one benefiting off of business from China, along with so many other people that are fucking idolized by this same group who hates the Chinese. It's so fucking odd. Clearly, these fighters don't have crazy pull on their own. It is the people managing them. It is the bigger picture deciding where they get slotted in. And that's the sad part. This was never, if Zhang Weili had good people looking out for her, this wouldn't, that's not how it goes. You don't have a lot of options in this game, much less the country she comes from, folks. So, again, with all these anti-Chinese hate, it's not a lot of sympathy for the people that have to fucking live there and be oppressed by there. Long history around the world to being literally genocided from within. The Uyghurs or whatever are not the only groups persecuted by the Chinese government, folks. It's the actual people, particularly women. That's why I went on that big diatribe when Zhang Weili won the title, explaining how fucking big that is. So it was cool that we got to have that moment, and Chinese women got to have that moment because it's I don't want to say it was needed. It was an unheard of reality. That's how fucking much it was needed. So, it was cool that Zhang Weili got to reach that. Perhaps she will reach it again, but probably not for a while. We'll see how that division plays out. Marlon Vera defeated Frankie Edgar. Yeah, I picked Edgar, and it was stupid. I actually picked change to go back. I think because I wasn't working toward the end of the week, I got swayed on picks, and I was like, I'm going to go do that. And then, sure enough, should have stuck with my original pick. Was wrong on Shane Burgos defeating Billy Quarantillo, Billy Q, Buffalo. But me, man, I'm a Billy Q backer, and biased or not, he showed why. He's a guy that will fight for your proverbial dollar there. Justin Gaethje defeated Michael Chandler in an amazing fight. I still got to go back to watch, but this was the one fight where I was like pulling random kids, random people, random adults going, come here. I know you're not a fight fan, or I don't know if you're a fight fan or not, but you got to watch this shit. And I had it on my phone, and I gathered people around, and I think we enjoyed it. We're pretty fucked up, folks. So I'm not the best. I'm an unreliable narrator here. I know Alex Baeza cashed a round 2 prop. It was either going to be the round 1 or round 2 that he won, so I played it. This logic, I would like to think, should have worked more than it has for the last 3 cards, because I've been fucking hitting dead on like all my round props. But This one proved to be right. I know I helped some other people cash out there, so that was cool. Bobby Green defeated Ally Quinta, TKO punches. I should have went harder on Green than I already did. You guys already know, like, Bobby Green was my spot, and if I had time that week to research it, I probably would have gone down even harder on it. I was just going off of, my previous Bobby Green bias, if you will, at this point, backing him. But even though I cashed, I still felt like I left money on the table. Chris Curtis defeated Phil Hoggs. Yeah, man, Chris Curtis, hard not to be happy for this guy. He's a real nice guy. I interviewed him, talked to him in person. Covered him on a Contender Series. I gave him a really good grade. He was a big snub in my book. So definitely happy for the guy. But man, does that suck for Phil Hoggs? Because he actually looked... I went back to watch because I wasn't watching these. I was just like reading. I'm like, oh, well, there goes the one bet. Luckily, my Hoggs hedge parlay went through. And I had Curtis in rounds 2 and 3. I figured that's when he was going to get it done, but of course he had to get him in round 1. That would have been nice. If Chris Curtis got him in round 2 or 3, I believe I would have profited this night. Nasruddin Imamov defeated Edmund Shabazian from Pittsburgh. Shabazian. Yeah, it sucks for Shabazian, man. It just really got pushed up there too fast. Again, that's another reason why I'm against the hype jobs, folks, because when it's generally bad for them, Not everybody's a Khamzat Chimaev just shooting all over the blasting their loads all over the place, right? Sometimes you're the sometimes you're the shooter, sometimes you're the taker. I don't even know what the fuck if that's even a terminology. Is that I don't even know. I'm just gonna make up terminology. A giver, or receiver. I don't know. Pitcher or cat. Does that even come from? I feel like pitcher and catcher came from like straight dudes trying to make fun of gay dudes at this point. So any of my LGBTQ friendly any gay listeners want to correct me on the terminology there, but yeah. Shabazian's been taking it. Wow, Dan, a really long way to say he's been getting fucked. But hey. Ian Gary defeated Jordan Williams. KO punches. From what I remember, I just remember like Ian Gary, I think, taking a lot of punches before he got the punch. But a good post-fight speech and all that, with the accent, it'll get people going. Let's see more of that kid. I can't tell you much. Chris Barnett defeated Pastagiani, John Vellante. All class by Barnett. Sucks for Pastagiani. Wish him the best. Wish Chris Barnett the best too. Justin Jacoby should have went harder on him. Defeated John Allen. Good performance from him, from what I remember. Nelsik Bagdasarian. I think he just followed Bruno Souza a bunch. I didn't watch this one. He came through. I picked Ode Osborne, but I stayed away from this fight, so nothing on the line for me. He defeated CJ Vergara. All right. That one was 48. UFC Fight Night 197 happened. It was another good card. As far as just action goes, right? Max Holloway defeated Yarya Rodriguez. Boy, did I whiff hard on this one. It was just a lot of stuff I wasn't... I'm like, you know what? Let's bet on my most confident spots. And one of them was Holloway. And with him being priced out for most of us, you have to find stupid angles. And I always preach against being careful about doing that. But since Dan Tom was playing for fun, I went and I unloaded the clip on like rounds 3, 4, 5. And then another house that offered like 3, 4, 5 TKO and sub. I even sprinkled in some of those. Like, I'm just talking about like $7 to $17. Like, shit you're not going to miss. And if one of those hits, you just pay, all back and then some, right? At the numbers you're getting for those kind of props. And just none of them hit, of course. It looked like he was on the way to round 3. But Rodriguez, man, to his credit, really attaching that left hook more. He used to only punch and kick from his right side, folks, if you actually go back and watch the footage. Much less have a weak boxing presence to boot. So the fact that he's striking from his left side, having more of a boxing presence, even if it's these just kind of 1 or 2 layer explosive counters, and then he's either on his way out of the pocket or fleeing or doing something else crazy. It's still good. It's still very useful. It was enough to stop Max from completely running him over, right? I just want to be careful to laud the toughness of Rodriguez, despite him putting on these performances and this and that. I want to be careful about glorifying this for a guy that goes out there and is just being, can barely walk out of the octagon every time he competes. And he's still really young. And I know he's a lot of inactivity between these things. But, I really want to be careful about that pride on that Mexican toughness, I didn't go back to watch Dooku Kim, but Koreans, which is why Koreans and Mexicans get together. You see Dong Young Ma versus Polo Reyes and many others. Crazy shit happens. These are two nationalities, ethnicities, however you want to put it, stereotyped, synonymous with their air quotes toughness. And it can be dangerous to have these positive attributes. I'm not talking about the social implications of, which I've been guilty of too, where you're like, hey, what's wrong with this racial stereotype? It's just a positive thing. Like, I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about like just literal physical health, like measurable physical health that you can get from these stereotypes. Fighters fight. Well, these fighters especially fight. And those are the fighters that really get the fucked up the most. The tough ones with the chin, the ones that war, the ones that, those are the ones that do worse than the ones that get the clean knockouts, the boring decisions, or maybe even arguably at the end of the clean knockouts and then stop their career. It's these guys that are in these wars. So I know I've been very hard on Rodriguez in the past. I know I stated that he does seem like kind of like an asshole for what it's worth. But I'm whatever. He neither here nor there. I'll pick him or not pick him just the same. You guys know me. So I want to, for those reasons, overcorrect the steering wheel and give someone their due daps if I've been hard or critical on them. But man, I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of lauding toughness. Fuck me for knowing too much, I guess. And I'm not saying your fandom needs to be where I'm at. If you're still enjoying this shit, not thinking of the repercussions, I guess good for you. But yeah, I don't know. I got to be careful not to laud that. The second place I went heavy on this card, of course, was Ben Rothwell versus Flo Rida, Marcos Rogério de Lima. And this one sucked, man. I even told Aaron, I'm like, and not to feather the nest for my fall, which did happen, but I was like, Marcos Rogério de Lima could go out there and knock him out, or TKO him in this case, which he did. And I'll still bet this. I'm still going to stand by this bet. And I'm not that stubborn asshole, at least to this extent, at least normally, I would like to think. But I'm going to be that stubborn asshole here because I still think it's a good bet. And I hope everybody that thought that, this was a normal outcome for this fight and thought that the line it should have been that tight. Good. Okay. I hope the odds makers listens to you so that we get a big number to fade Rodrigo de Lima by submission on the next person who has shown the competency to hit submissions and survive in fights. I will bet that again. Again, not auto bet. It's got to be the right person, like in this case, Ben Rothwell, who did that exact same thing before many times, and I've called that out and helped you guys cash just the fight before on Big Ben. It's just a fact. It's not even my opinion. Go look at De Lima's record. He fucking dives into submissions. He dives into them like someone's out there on the tarmac with those airplane directors, like this way to the directing the plane. Like that is De Lima going to submissions. Like he can't find these fucking things fast enough. And if, and I don't want to say if Herb would have let it gone on, because like even though Herb's stoppage was bullshit and Herb sucks, and we'll get to that, as I tweeted, even though it was a big losing bet for me and one that I hate to bite because it's just, fuck this guy, But no, I don't have a problem with the stoppage. I can call out my biases and still stay somewhat attached to reality. I don't got any issue with the result. But I will say, though, if De Lima failed to knock him out for whatever reason in that flurry that we saw, he wouldn't have had shit left. That's how all his fights go. He's got a couple flurries of confidence, and if you can survive and give him something back, oh boy, you start that clock. So I'll be looking to make my money back on Marcos Rogério de Lima big time, and it shouldn't be that hard if you pick the right guy to fade him against. I will say, though, I didn't mention it, and I hate to say this because I saw this scenario when I was trying to think realistically. Okay, I know you're confident in Big Ben and you like fading this guy, but how does this guy win? Yes, round one knockout, which is what happened, sure. But like, how does he really win? I'm like, well, he's gonna have to rock him early, and Big Ben's gonna like do his stumbly thing, and you're gonna have a ref go in there and kind of jump in there kind of early And Big Ben's going to be upset, and bettors are going to be pissed off. That's how this is going to end. And that's how it ended. Although, again, I will say I'm actually in favor of the stoppage, even though it was a piss-poor stoppage. I am in favor of the fight being decided to be stopped, as indecisively decided as it may have been by Herb Dean, who, doesn't have a history of that. Felicia Spencer defeated Leah Lesson. That was brutal. Brutal. I should have went heavier on Spencer. I'm glad I had her in the... In a parlay, anyways, but yeah, Chaos Williams defeated Miguel Baeza. I had a feeling that could happen, even though I picked Baeza, which is why I stayed away. Although I did end up sprinkling a little bit on the submission prop that I told Aaron about on his pre-fight show. And again, Baeza went for it, man. He was going for takedowns. He was rolling for leg locks. Shit on leg locks all you will, man. I called that he was going to go for submissions, and that was his path. That was the path he needed to go. He fucked up, didn't do things right. Sure, you can nitpick. Absolutely. Yeah, sure. Hopefully he comes back better. But I got no complaints, man. He went for it, came up short. Good on Chaos Williams. Yadong Song defeated Julio Arce, TKO. Wow. That was fast. I backed my guy Arce there. I was wrong. Good on Song. Yoel Alvarez defeated Thiago Moises. TKO. Wow, that was way off just the size. But Alvarez is a welterweight, and if he tries to go to lightweight, it just shows that he's mentally weak, in my opinion. But he's got a lot of skills, man. And he's got a lot of size. It's just sad that a guy built that way with that much dynamism is so mentally weak that he would want to kill himself to go to lightweight when he is borderline a middleweight, at least bigger than the middleweight that was interviewing him in full shoes. Anyways, Andrea Lee defeated. By the way, I think I think I only had Moises in like a parlay, and it was like for fun. So I'm not speaking out of like scorn. You guys I stay consistent with energy. I hate big bullies. You know me. Andrea Lee defeated Cynthia Calvillo. Man, I'm glad I pulled up from this one because Cynthia Calvillo, or Andrea Lee was going to be someone that I was going to auto fade because of the way she was sounding. But then it was Calvillo who was, like I said, I didn't like that she was coming back off that thing. I didn't like even though she tried to incorporate more forward pressure this time around to her credit, I didn't like her striking trends that she's made, right? So I pulled off the gas, even though I officially picked Calvillo. And sure enough, Calvillo came out at her worst. And Lee, to her credit, came out at her very best. So those are typically spots that I lose. And so I'm glad that I was only wrong on the pick and not an actual bet there because I would have ate it hard paying for that chalk. Sean Woodson defeated Colin Anglin via TKO. I know people like to pick against Woodson because of how he looks, and Anglin's the kind of guy that I seem like I would like to bet, but not even I was going to mess with that one this time. And I'm glad I didn't because Woodson took care of business, but he still ends up getting back to the cage, and against the right guy, it's going to be a good spot. So again, another one where good, okay, keep hyping your boy. Hopefully we get a good price to fade him. Courtney Casey defeated Liana Jojua. Unanimous decision. I just remember really bad fight IQ, which, doesn't really surprise me on that fight on paper. Rafael Alves defeated Mark Diakese, submission guillotine choke. Oh, man. I should have stuck with my gut. I was right with my gut on Diakese, and I shouldn't have adjusted because I made some money fading him, and I should have stayed with it. But now that I go to back the guy, thinking he's going to recorrect the course and the steering wheel, nope. I think he's kind of gotten exposed with his level. It's just athletic mess. Rafael Alves, athletic mess with more potency and finishing point. Da-Un Jung, baby, defeated Kennedy Ninchukwu via KO elbows. This was just beautiful, beautiful hand play, beautiful post-fight breakdown. Korea stand up, baby. So that was that card. Next CAD, 59. Last here, we got Tate Vera, which is one of the worst cards. It's funny, it's up in the running for worst card of the year, but it's hard because there's been like a solid 5 where I'm like, okay, this has been a year of bad cards, but this got to be up there. And starting around June or so, and like since June, there's been like 4 or 5 where I'm like, holy shit! Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse. Caitlin Vieira defeated Miesha Tate. I just betted the fight didn't go the distance. I felt like that was a really safe bet, and it wasn't. I figured either Vieira would gas or Tate would fall apart after getting like her nose busted and getting that flashback, which we almost kind of saw come the 5th. I really wasn't scoring this fight. For me, it was easy, at least 4-1 Vera, just kind of barely watching offhand. But I wasn't surprised at the 48-47 because, again, it's not that I agree with these judges' scorecards when I say I could see the judges going this way. That doesn't mean I go that way. It's just because I know fucking judges suck and they get swayed by stupid shit. And there were some of those rounds in there that could have swayed, got them swayed by stupid shit. So even though I score it 4-1 or 5-0 Vera, maybe even 5-0 if I go back to rewatch it, am I surprised at a 48-47 that they gave Tate 2 rounds? Like, no, I'm not fucking throwing a fit about that, folks. We should know by now. Sean Brady defeated Michael Chiesa, unanimous decision. You know what's fucked up? My initial 3 bets, I should have stuck with my gut again because I originally was just going to bet Brady, Sabatini, and Durden and just fucking leave it. Just take three chalk shots. And I would have done well if I did that. But I did not. I stayed away from Brady. And I would have been sweating that last round. And I know, he got his nose busted and maybe had an eye poke, which is worth considering for the striking differential. But there's still a cardio and composure aspect there that was missing for me. And you're going to need that at welterweight if you want to get into these 5-round fights that he's calling for. I appreciate that he wants it. Tough kid, but did not like what I saw from that aspect, at least. Talia Santos defeated Joanne Wood for the only finish of the night. Yeah, you can kind of see what that was, why the line was so high. Wood seemed like she's checked out. You hate to pick a fight via social media, but that's kind of how it would have played out if you did. I don't know why. That's why I hate being not in a rush because I wasn't working, so it was the wrong thing. But I could give a shit less to study picks on these weeks, so good on me, I guess. I avoided doing that, but I remember I'm a Yarya guy, and I remember picking him, but I was too lazy to go back and listen to my podcast, re-listen, or do the research to remember why I picked him over Kyung Ho Kang. And with Korea being just on this run, and Yarya having to pull out from COVID, and me doing the typical thing, let me overcorrect the steering wheel away from my bias, I picked Kang, and it looked like to be the right pick because, Yarya, didn't win the first round, and when he doesn't win the first round, not that he can't get finishes in round 2 or 3, but against a guy who already was going to be tough in the wrestling department, right? And you're like, oof, it's not going to look good. Then he even gets rocked and almost finished, and I had Kyung round 3. I threw some darts. I had Yarya by submission, Kang round 3, and draw. And you could argue all those kind of almost happened. No one's giving 10-8s anymore, although the 10-8 in this case should have gone to a Yarya, and that wouldn't have helped. And Kang could have won and was, slightly favored for a reason. He just kind of gave the fight away. So maybe not necessarily a bad pick, but again, I should have stuck to my guns, baby. Should have stuck to my gut. I think that was a lesson of these fights, at least maybe when I'm not doing research, really stick to my gut. Adrian Yanez defeated Davey Girl. Come on, there's Davey. Dangerous Davey Girl. Dan, I don't even sound like that. I don't know why you make me talk like that. But yeah, Yanez, classic Masvidal style, outboxes him, gets the split. Almost got ally acquitted there by Davey Grant. Not sure how someone gave him 30-27. Was that Tony Weeks? Hey, who needs accountability, folks? It's a hard job. That's why I love it's a hard job. Yeah, but at a certain point, how long can someone keep fucking up and we give them that excuse? Whether it's these judges or the referees like Herb Dean. These seem like nice cats, man. They seem to get along with everybody. Maybe that's why people are reluctant to say anything. But what job out there, from fucking McDonald's to a CEO, are you not accountable for your performance? I don't know. It's not a crazy fucking concept in the world, is it? Pat Sabatini defeated Tucker Lutz. This was the only bet that I cashed, and I got shit for it. And I was so busy. I wasn't even watching fights in the beginning of it. Again, even a lot of these cards I wasn't watching. Even the ones I work, I'm not watching half the time because I'm so damn busy. And this was one of the few times I didn't even want to tweet picks or. This is such a shit card, I had so much going on in the week that I'm finally getting around to. I really wasn't thinking about it. And like I tuned in midway. And I believe I said it before the fight, went to like the result or anything. Like, it's while the fight was going on. Granted, things were already going in Sabatini's way, but it wasn't anything new. Like, you guys know I've been high on Sabatini since CFFC, and I've been cashing on him every step of the fucking way. Like, this is nothing new. People who know me, like, there's some of the bets I bet you guys would have guessed that I was already on my off weeks. Like, man, wouldn't want to know what Dan's on, but I can guess some of these. This is definitely a Dan Tom spot, or that's definitely a Dan Tom fighter. And so, yeah, it's not even like I'm saying anything fucking crazy that I don't have past consistency to link to or cite. And believe me, I hate being after that. I didn't want to say it too, but I was just so happy to see Sabatini doing well. And I just, because I was actually able to listen to podcasts since I wasn't worried about ruining my filter. And, have nothing fucking else to do. I have podcasts playing and was just listening to everybody fucking picking Lutz or counting Sabatini out. And I was just like, just judging him off of his UFC fights, not going back and watching his CFFC body of work on the regionals. So yeah, I was a little stoked there. And, cashing a bet. So God forbid, for a dude who's been transparent for over half a decade and freely transparent. Like, goddamn. So, I know I shouldn't care. I made it a big deal, but that just pissed me the fuck off. Fucking people. Like, Anyways. Say stupid shit, get stupid prizes. Rafa Garcia defeated Natan Levy. Unanimous decision. I don't know, man. I'm still think Rafa's just like punching bag dude who gets to, train with good dudes. I'm still not seeing where he's supposed to stand out, but we'll see. Lupita Godinez defeated Loma Lokbongmi. I picked Godinez, which hurt. I wanted Loma Lokbongmi to win, but, Godinez, man, just was a bad style matchup. Cody Durden defeated I'm terrible at pronouncing these names too, folks, so believe me, I ain't coming on a high horse with this pronunciation shit. It's not pronounced how it's Orichi Lang is how it's supposed to be pronounced, but then they reverse it and spell it funny. Durden was a spot that I was going to pick. I don't necessarily even thought he won if we're like trying to stay consistent with a damaging fighter, which again, refs aren't great with that, so whatever. Durden was able to keep his composure and do enough to kind of bullshit the judges to get the nod. It wasn't an impressive fight, an impressive performance from him or any of the sort. If anyone was impressive, it was his opponent had the more impressive moments. And, of course, he's got to go into his racial rhetoric, go back home to China. And what's wrong with going home? I was just saying the person to go home, wherever that may be. Which was just typical reply guy TM bullshit. And even before everyone went to dig up his tweets, which, by the way, like, there's plenty of bad, I don't know about, like, you see me using fucking these words or racist shit or anything like that, but, like, you go back to, like, older me, like, I say a bunch of stupid shit, too, so people saying this sentiment that they don't like this style of, I don't even want to call it journalism, because most people doing it aren't even journalists half the time, folks. It's mostly y'all, the Gen Pop, that are digging these in and tagging everybody. But yes, I not that I'm not all about accountability, especially in cases like this, because it only reaffirms the benefit of the doubt that so many people love to give. Whether and it's certainly not a racial thing, or it's not for access. If you're a media member, that's certainly not the reason. But yeah, for all the benefit of the doubt, people, like in this case, it actually is good. So I'm not trying to blanket say one way or the other. What I will say, as far as the sentiment on condemning people based off one action, people can change, people can be better. I agree with those sentiments, with the sentiment of that. I agree. I do. It heartens with me, to a point. The general sentiment, to a point, right? However, even without that taken into account, the words he says does have a history. And even though I'm much more kinder than I need to be to these people, as far as, calling them out, And that's the thing too. It's like, and not that there's anything wrong with this. If anything, you could criticize me for not going this route and being hard enough on it, right? Because I never say Cody Durden, or if I do, I'm not tagging these people to try to get attention or to get clicks, or see my full thoughts here, or linking a video. I'm not monetizing in any way. Which is funny because people are like, you mean this is journalism? This is your idea of journalism? First of all, I'm not a fucking journalist. Second of all, you mean journalist so you can get some follows? I'm like, I'm not a journalist. If you actually read my profile, you will see that. You will actually see that I specifically say I don't give a fuck about follows, and I tell people to save their follows because I hate this fucking space for this very fucking reason. So that's what I love about that lazy reply. But for all the benefit of the doubt, motherfuckers out there, like, that phrase has strong history. And again, this isn't even though, yes, most of the people defending, I don't see anything racist. Yes, the majority of these people in my comments and many others may have been white, but there's plenty of even not just minorities, but Asian Americans from ESPN to other media spaces and colleagues with really piss poor takes on this and other issues of race, whether it be on this or Rittenhouse or whatever. So I'm not making I don't want to make this any more of a race thing, or there's just white people. No, like, not at all. It's not the case at all. It's ignorant bullshit is what's bad, no matter who it comes from. So I don't want to make it sound like that, but I did see, from whether it was like comments on YouTube, Twitter, or videos of even colleagues, sadly, and I don't want to turn this into a fucking gaslighting these people, even though it's deserved gaslighting in this case, because I generally care and respect these people, and I want to reach out and either have a conversation publicly or privately, or both, to not set them straight, but to enlighten them on views that they are clearly missing, and then they can go and make decisions for themselves from there on out. But there's clearly not just a perspective, but like historical facts for all the facts bro people out there, I love that word, that are just being left out when breaking this down. It's like people are so afraid. And again, whether it's a journalist thing, because you don't want to lose your connection, you don't want to lose your audience, because you realize that the majority of the MMA audience is a bunch of chuds, and if you're someone who has sold your soul, in the process of selling your soul, no problem with selling your soul, to make your money, which is your choice, that's fine. You're gonna need those audience people, right? So you're gonna have to walk the center, which is why centerists become such a toxic thing. That's why I say people in the center are assholes too. I don't associate with anybody, as far as that shit goes. But yeah, there is a clear missing history of it, and seeing a lot of these people saying, well, if they told me to go back home or to go back to Canada, nobody would be saying anything. Really? If they told a white person to go back home, or a white person to go back to a white colonized country, there wouldn't be a problem with it. I wonder why. Maybe because the word home, there's layers to this. First, just the word home, not even the go back to China and the Chinese or racial aspect. Let's just start with the home aspect. Is a very controversial one, because it is not just from my anecdotal that I or many others have given you about this recently. The people who generally say this, go back home, throughout history, tend to be white. They tend to be white, and ironically in places like America or Canada that had an indigenous people of color having their lands taken from them, colonized. And it's usually the colonized parts of our history and the colonized party in parts of our histories where this rhetoric of go back home, go back to Africa, go back to China, or whatever, has been used. That's why fucking brilliant geniuses out there who came up, who are dying on this hill of, if someone told me to go back to Canada or back to the U.S., I wouldn't be offended. That's why. It's because you guys, you wouldn't be, because there's no reason to be. Y'all are the one that have been casting those stones. Whereas the people who have been hit by those stones, and yes, it might not be these people casting it, but this is factual history and how it is. And as As there are many literatures and things that and people that can explain it much better than I. This stuff is it does get passed down trauma as well. And I'm not trying to open up that fucking can of worms or whatever. I'm just stating why you see such impact. Trying to help explain why you might see such impassioned views on this. So the word home becomes very convoluted when used by colonizers, right? So, well, wait, you're telling us to go back home? Isn't your home somewhere else too? Weren't you immigrants as well, technically? And hence bigotry, racism, and let me just pull up racism definition here. Racism definition, awkward. The term racism is often defines it as prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. And by definition, what he said was racist. But and I make sure to say that about Cody or Rose, I always say racial rhetoric. Even though I could, and I'm well within my rights at this point to say they are racist, I don't say that. I don't even say they should lose their job at UFC. Back to the whole thing. I don't go about it like the typical media way. Like, I just state facts as fucking facts. So that's why I get really pissed off, and I will come at people when they come at me. And before blocking or muting them, even though they like to think of it as a sign that they won, it's like, no, you're just a loser and have gotten nowhere in life and have no fucking followers, so you don't have to deal with the bullshit that I and others have to. I'm not trying to say that to put myself up. I'm just trying to say that to fucking punch down at the deserving people who deserve to be fucking down, which are the bottom feeders. And yeah, so I have no problem blocking or muting, but before I do, often I will just love to just drop logic bombs, even though it makes no sense. And yes, I'm wasting my time, because it just blows me away. It's like everybody, it's like you mentioned the Rittenhouse thing. Everybody's, finding but what about this case? Why aren't they talking about this one case? Right? Or go back home to China. Well, what's wrong with going home? Like, all these calories, these same people burning these calories to defend these statements. Like, I almost wonder, like, what is racist to them, Because it's this whole thing, it's part of this whole counter, it's censorship. We're all being censored and, cancel culture and da-da-da-da. And it's like all this, like, I know it's based off this rhetoric, and it's racist. Like, it's not a physical thing. Saying something isn't racist. You have to physically do something. Like, there's that thing. Although, again, by almost any definition of racism you can look up on the internet, Oxford, wherever, that's going to say different. What I just read to you would go against that. It's just like, my thing is like, okay, it's like, you don't have to fucking start a lynch mob. You don't have to ask for this person to lose their job. You don't have to devote every waking hour to fighting racism or anything. But, like, can we just at least acknowledge that racism exists? Is that so hard to acknowledge? Is it so hard to acknowledge inequality exists? Can we at least call it that? We won't use racism. Can you just acknowledge the inequality of the situation? That is what all these situations come down to. Can you recognize the inequality of it? And people can't. People will fucking search for other this just to fit their narrative, rather than, God forbid, taking like a millisecond, a millicalorie of empathy, of just going, yeah, that kind of sucked for that person, huh? That's all you gotta do? You don't gotta fucking sign a petition? You don't gotta fucking put BLM and rainbows on your profile? Like, all you gotta do is say, yeah, that's fucked up. Instead of going, well, actually, like, I don't get that. So the go home thing and the definition of home has been something long obscured by colonizers for a long time, for one. It's a very loaded statement, folks. And if you fit the bill, are from these countries and look the part, and you are one of these people not seeing it, well, maybe you might want to consider that and take a step back in your education process that I heavily recommend y'all do, as I myself am doing and continually try to do. Secondly, the go back to China. Okay, the reason why, I just explained the reason why it's not offensive to you geniuses out there and why go back to Canada or go back to America wouldn't be offensive. The reason why go back to China would be offensive is because, let me ask you this. Is go back to Africa offensive? I feel like even all the reply guys defending that this anti-Asian shit is not anti-Asian, I don't think they would be as hesitant if people said go. If Cody Durden beat a black fighter and said go back to Africa. Even those assholes at that point would back off. Although, again, back to my previous point, I do feel like when I ask what it would take, that rhetorical question, I feel like at this point, there's just a whole crowd of people that, like, unless there is a dude with, like, swastikas tattooed all over his body, he is sodomizing a woman of color while saying, I am doing this through the hatred of my heart, an unconsensual act full of hate. This is based on the hatred of my heart. He's got a microphone. He's yelling it too through it, the megaphone, as he's committing rape and hate crimes. And he has swastikas tattooed. And he has to be fully stripped so everybody can see it. This has to be recorded in live streaming. We're gonna need, it's like something like this Chappelle show. You're gonna need your best friend there taking notes as he looks, as Neil Brennan looks to the camera and nods with his notepad. Like, I feel like you need all these things, and then these people would be like, well, okay, maybe this one's racist. Like, I feel like that's the logic these people are operating on. They're countering the steering wheel like so hard the other way, right? But again, even those people probably wouldn't be as loud of it if you were like, hey, let's go back to, if Cody Durden said, hey, go back to Africa, right? And not to split hairs, because they both are xenophobic, racist rhetoric that's been used throughout time, not just these times, by the way, folks. Throughout many periods of time in many places around the world. It's got a history. Not hard to look up this stuff, folks. Especially you journalists out there, you're going to read that ethics. But, like, not that you should split hairs on this, but just a little bit more history for you guys. We react probably more to, it's more obvious how wrong it is if I use the Africa example, which is why I use it. And it's also, sadly, it's a super common one, just as common as the go back to China. But historically, the go back to China one actually carries more weight, which makes it extra wrong, which makes anybody defending this look extra bad in history's eyes, makes your take extra bad. Whether it's Gen Pop in the comments or people that I respect that are my colleagues that I plan on reaching out to, because I can't have them embarrassing themselves with these really bad takes. And inaccurate takes, not just bad. Bad is subjective. Inaccurate takes, at the very least. Grossly inaccurate. Because go back to China was a specific weighted one. For one, the Chinese Exclusion Act, which I've mentioned a bunch of times, it's still to this day the only document from my country that literally deems a race inhuman, and ban them from the country, ban them from their laws if they already existed in the country, ban them from coming back, even though it technically gave them rules to come back, which was challenged by a man named Che Chanping, who was a San Francisco resident and went back to visit China. And on his way back during this trip was when Grover Cleveland enacted the Chinese Exclusion Act, so he was stuck, unable to legally re-enter the country. And he went through all the forms that the government provided. And not only was he still denied, because again, and again, fucking obviously this country's not been great to Latinos, gays, women, Jews, blacks, even Italians. I think Italians have like the most people hung simultaneously at one time. I would have thought, went the gun to my head, and went, oh, black people for sure. Not Italians in New Orleans. So, again, this country's not, it's not just that they're not nice to Chinese. They're not nice to almost all immigrants, right? It's got this country's a really bad history with that, unfortunately. And it's just the truth, folks. Sorry. And yeah, so like that go back home. I mean, holy shit, I could just stop at the Exclusion Act and fucking, make all the assholes out there with these opinions look even more like assholes, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to keep going. I mentioned the name Che Chanping. Well, the funny thing is that, like, up until this point, the discrimination actually wasn't even a new thing as far as the go back home to China sentiments. before even the Exclusion Act happened, there was already a turn. Again, the Chinese built the railroads, a huge mining force, and arguably the most successful mining force as far as the gold rush. We were brought in for said cheap labor. We were legitimate parts of frontier towns. There's you always found Chinese businesses and whatnot in them. It was a regular appearance there, And but the problem is when we started getting really successful at these things, of course it draws ire from the Americans, right? And they're like, who are these Chinese coming in here taking our jobs and doing? And it's a tale as old as time. My Latino brothers and sisters should be able to sympathize here, right? And Asian hate crimes start going off at like a crazy amount, right? So you have all this anti-Asian sentiment, like a lot of stuff, like go back home, go back to China, stuff being said today, folks, to where Chinese are getting killed in the streets. It's just inciting violence. In fact, 1854, there's this big case of this guy, he murders 2 Chinese people in cold blood, and he's let off. And it's basically because once the Chinese actually tried to stick up for themselves in court, they actually ended up hurting themselves and other races, right? Because they actually ended up making a rule, not just for Chinese, for blacks and everybody else, saying that you can't testify against a white man in court. And because of that rule, this person was able to get off scot-free. So yeah, it sucks when we're in 2021 and you still see, people getting off, yeah, for murder. It pisses me off. I'm sorry. I guess that makes me a bad person. I don't know. Unjust murder pisses me off. Call me crazy, right? Anyways, and because of this, word gets around, because of this trial and the reasoning why he got let off, that the Chinese people can't testify. And this essentially gives carte blanche to where the violence against Asians that was already happening starts fucking skyrocketing, right? Skyrocketing. They're just killing Asians in the streets. Again, if you're listening in Southern California, chances are you could be living over in old Chinatown and Chinese bodies that never got a proper funeral, and you don't even know it. It was that black mayor just last year that uncovered all these underground tunnels because the Chinese weren't even allowed out at nighttime. I mean, there was just such different rules compared to all the other humans. Even the other minorities would get preferential treatment over the Chinese. The Chinese were it wasn't just Japan that wrote about us Chinese like we were dogs. It was America too. And yeah, so you have all this murder and anti-Chinese sentiment. To eventually you get the Chinese Exclusion Act in the 1880s that passes, or the Scott Act or whatever they call it. About 20,000 Chinese, they aren't technically Chinese Americans, but Chinese living in America are deported. Go back home to China, right? That whole sentiment, they start trying to appease that. It's not just a saying, folks. It has weight, right? So they sent about 20,000 in this time period. And that Che Cheng-ping, he actually took his court to this. He actually got all the way to the Supreme Court because he was denied reentry, and he tried doing it all the legal ways. And even though you could consider it a success that a Chinese person made their case all the way to the Supreme Court, even though he lost, the unfortunate part is, again, he actually ended up hurting his own people and other minorities for years to come, to no fault of his own, because this got it on America's radar, where they instilled laws to extend, to essentially extend the rights, right? The Supreme Court actually, if people don't know the American government, it's hard to explain. Supreme Court's supposed, the 3 branches of our government, Supreme Court is supposed to check the others, right? In this case, though, it did not, and it stated the reason why it could not check the power of the Congress or the Exclusion Act itself was because the American government found a caveat where they just declared it a state of national emergency, a state of national security, was why they needed the rights. Does that sound familiar, folks? Especially for Americans? State of national security, the Patriot Act. That's right. It actually comes back from this incident here because from Che Chan-ping's failed appeal to the courts, they would institute that caveat and found out that, wait a minute, we can target whatever immigrant group we want to without any regulation if we claim that it is for our security and safety. Is this starting to sound familiar to you guys? Yeah, this go back home shit's got a real long fucking history to it, you fucking idiots. Sorry. Sorry, I'm really trying to bite my tongue here, but it really just pisses me off here in a lot of the takes. So yeah, that was actually used where it actually, because of that too, that comes in 1917, the Asiatic Barred Zone Act, where it's essentially the Chinese Exclusion Act, but they extended it to Southeast Asians, right? South Asians, right? The dark ones, right? Hey, if the regular Asians are bad, imagine how bad the fucking dark ones are, the ones that look like me, right? Fuck, we can't let them in this country. So you get that signed, and you get in all these deportations. This is kind of how my family came about. The reason why I don't know a bunch of my family, because my family, I come from slaves and indentured servants that were pretty much slaves when we weren't supposed to legally be having slaves in this country. That's where I come from. And these slaves had to work their ass off. They had to do everything from farming to drug dealing. Like my great-grandpa, who ran an opium farm and had to get, it's not something to brag about that he got his workers hooked on opium to turn a profit. And that's how he profited, by making a quarter of the farm an opium farm. He became the first person on one half of the island of Hawaii, I believe the west side of the island, to have a running toilet and plumbing. But that's the game, man. That's why I'm not too quick to judge hood people for doing hood things. I'm watching The Wire, and man, does it hit different as I'm older and I've worked in the media. Boy, does that show hit different. And the game is the game, man. And coming from, actual family that is affected by these games, yeah, I have a little bit of a different of an opinion and an enlightenment about it, I guess, or whatever. Not enlightenment, bad word, but you know what I'm saying. Awareness about it. And yeah, and so fucking Asian hate, this thing of go back home, has a history, Yes, all those Scott Acts and Artisan Bar Zone Acts, these things did end by World War II, which, by the way, they were right around the time where they had the Japanese in internment camps, trade in one human rights violation, gain another. But that didn't stop the anti-Asian sentiment. It just made it worse, both for Japanese and Chinese and anybody that looked like it. Because by the time the 80s come and, we're welcoming the Asians back into the market and instead of railroads now, well, the automobile is popular, right? Well, Japan does a pretty good goddamn job at it, we find out, especially when we don't allow them to make war, right? They start killing it in the auto industry. And just like the success of the railroad workers and the gold miners and everybody before with the Asian face who came here to work, the same immigrant dream as anybody else, Irish or otherwise. They were targeted, which led to the murder of Vincent Chin. It was Americans rebelling against the Japanese auto industry, and of course, they still end up targeting the damn Chinese. Vincent Chin was a Chinese American. He's beaten and murdered, and of course, yep, you guessed it, the legal system went easy and pretty much let off his murderers. So yeah, you wonder why I got an opinion on that. I don't like seeing these Rittenhouse people fucking just get away with murder. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of a history there, folks. You might want to consider in this country for many people, many different races. And yeah, so sorry for the long fucking history lesson, especially beating like some of the few aware people in this space. I imagine that's the few people listening to my podcast. But feel free to take this information, look it up for yourself. Feel free to share it with anyone you see, whether it's a rando in the comment section or, more importantly, my fellow colleagues, especially if you are our patrons, listeners of their shows. Because again, I'm not trying to unfairly gaslight them, even though some are making repeat mistakes and outing themselves in a way that is kind of troublesome. But to be honest, a lot of it's just ignorance, because as I raise my hand here, folks, I have been and still am ignorant on so many things that I don't realize have a history, offense, so I'm not trying to come down from a high horse by stating what are basic facts that you all could look up yourself. But what I do mean to say is that not to give racism a pass, but even though it's a scapegoat and people give the benefit of the doubt way too goddamn much, I don't want to feed into that. But yes, there is often ignorance, and maybe not the Cody Durdens of the world or the people who have a history of espousing racial rhetoric, but in the way it's covered, consumed, talked about, absorbed. I do all those things poorly for a lot of different subjects, and I'm trying better. So I would be ridiculously hypocritical to not give someone else the same chance. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to reach out to certain people who keep, making really fucking awful takes. But yeah, man, there is a long history of go back home or go home to China that still has its fingerprints of its history to how it's touched and affected many different groups in this country and many other countries. You don't think that when, the Chinese go and set up their Chinatowns in other countries and shit, they're not getting that kind of go back home racism too there. It's not just an American thing, The ironic part about if anybody is, in Canada too. I have plenty of Canadian friends. People, I give people shit for, sucking cum shots cock, but like, you could say that to me about Canadians. I'm always praising Canadians, how polite they are. But you know what? It's got colonial roots just like this country. And you know what? It's got hate problems just like this country. In fact, Asian hate ranked in number 1 in Vancouver, Canada, of all places. So, that's why someone says go home to Canada. That's why no one's going to give a fuck the same way. Fucking, really. I really got to explain this shit. Oh, I'm sorry for that. Sorry for this ear beating and this really long podcast. I was in the middle of recapping. I'm going to get the listener questions and get the fuck out of here now. But yeah, Shai Ilan Nurembeke defeated Sean Soriano. Luana Pinheiro defeated Sam Hughes. Didn't really watch those fights. Awful fucking card. All right. Sorry, I had to really go with that long history. I just, yeah, the ignorance never ceases to surprise me in this space. Nothing political about that. Did I call for Cody Durden to fucking lose his job or anything? No. Of course he's not. The UFC doesn't give a fuck. Again, I've called this shit out. That's all I tweet reference because I've been saying this shit for over a year now, folks, that they're going to use the Chinese fighters like it's the 80s again, where like the Iron Sheik, they're just going to bring them in for punchlines to get beat and people make stupid statements on. And what happened? That's why I said, who saw this coming? It was sarcastic because I have called all this shit. I don't just call fights pretty goddamn accurately, folks. How much of this shit outside of the cage have I called? Add this to the fucking list. You don't have to like me. You don't have to agree with all my little tastes from In-N-Out Burger to any kind of political leanings, which, fuck all that for me, but you can't deny these facts. And anyways, man, I'll just say this, whether it's situations like this, whether it's MMA managers punching people in the face, just go watch everybody's reactions to it. Everyone will out themselves, whether it's people in the media, they'll out themselves, whether it's people with racist or racial alignments, they'll out themselves on certain subjects. Really, all you got to do is just watch half the time. You just got to watch how it hits. And you see who's who real fast, people who conveniently skipped covering the Cody Durden comments of their content because they didn't want to have a fucking unpopular pitfall spot like me, which is why I probably have no listeners. So I guess I don't blame them. They're the smart ones. I mean, I shouldn't even be hating on them. But just like racial rhetoric or anything else, for better or worse, mainly for worse, I call shit out when I see it. I just wish the people whose job it was actually fucking did that, So props to the journalists I can count on one hand and still have remainders doing their jobs. And credit to people learning, by the way. The one good coverage I did hear of this, And it maybe shouldn't be a surprise that I'm going to bump my guys Gorgeous Georgian Goes. But shouts to MMA Junkie Radio on their episode at the beginning of this week. Fucking might be the only podcast, MMA podcast, still to this day that I've heard say, other than this one, that say stop Asian hate. And they did that many times. And, they didn't come out and condemn Cody Durden and say he's a bad person forever and lose his job. They didn't do that, but they still fucking called it out for what it was. And that's all I ask. You don't gotta fucking pick up a pitchfork. I'm not. But I am gonna say that the sky is blue when it's fucking blue, folks. So if you see anybody, journalists who aren't, it's not a coincidence, folks. Bet you they have a history of other conflicts of interest too. So I'll leave it at that. Let's go to listener questions on that positive note. Listener questions. 140. All right. We got Brad Trollchuck at Brazchuck. As long as Glover gets a solid 10 minutes of love, I'm happy. I probably cut you short on the 10 minutes, Brad. I'll pay it back to you or Glover, with Glover, without sometime or another. Maybe a mini top 5 of the best fights from UFC 267 to present. Wow, that's a really tough one. I can skip this last card for sure. I will go. Oh man, let's see here. I almost want to put Glover and Jan just because of that moment. It's on there. Blachowicz, Jan Sanhagen. It's got to be up there. Let's see here. DeSanto Saint Denis. I'm just kidding. We'll go to Shara, the main and co-main of 268. I'll put them in order in a second here. We'll go Usman Covington 2. Burgos Quarantillo, Justin Gate. Oh, that's probably the top 5 right there, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not gonna say Max and Yarya even really as much, because again, I'm not getting sold by commentary and the big explosive stuff. You know me, I actually try to see what fucking lands and what effect it has on the person before just jerking off every time someone throws spinning shit that doesn't land. I feel like we've had enough practice to decipher this from the John Jones 2012 days. I'll go Gaethje Chandler. I'll go. Fuck, I gotta rewatch Quarantillo Burgos. I feel like it would go higher. So I'll go Glover Blachowicz, not because it's a fight. That's sheerly, folks, just for emotion and holy fuck, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Jan Sanhagen, even though Jan Sanhagen was more like kind of Rodriguez territory, it was more like I want to be careful to laud someone's toughness. I don't want to give him too much credit for being tough. Not that to be a dick, because obviously these are very skilled fighters. But yeah, I'll put that there, and then I guess I'll put Burgos Quarantillo number 5. Yeah, Burgos Quarantillo 5. Usman Covington 4. We'll go Jan Sanhagen, which pretty much could be interchangeable with number 2, which will be Blachowicz Teixeira, and number 1 Gaethje Chandler will be my top 5. But that Bobby Green fight ranks high just because of result as well. And that's about it. That'll be my top 5 from that. Lastly, Brad says, ignore the racist and the people who defend him. I kind of fucked up and already ear-beated you guys for a while. I'm sorry. We all know they're helpless. Yeah, I know. I should ignore that shit. You're right. Sammy Arnett, why are media members in the MMA community questioning Weili's title run? ? Here are some of the narratives. 1, elbowed Andrade in the back of the head, so that was a fluke win. 2, robbed Joanna of a clear victory, so another fluke win. 3, Rose dominated her twice, so she's not an elite strawweight. 4, her path to the title was easy, so she has one of the most fraudulent records in MMA. When RDA or Renan Barão lost their titles, there was no mention of these narratives. That way, at least you can get why is that. I don't know if I would want to use RDA or Renan Barão because those guys really had to pay their dues. And that's why Weili is getting crap again. That's another reason why I hate it, is because this isn't her. She's not going out there Conor McGregoring it, going, I'm here to take part, I'm here to take over. No, the Asian athletes are some of the most soft-spoken, humble athletes. They're most taken advantage of in labor markets, fighting to just history in general. I just gave you some of that, right? but she is going to get the blame for the push, not the UFC who's pushing her or the managers or any of that. That's why I said why I, despite being a fan of Wei Li, whether I pick her or not, that's why I was adamantly against a lot of these fights. Or I can understand, I guess I could say, the criticism, even though it is unfair. It's unfair, but yeah, I would say that, I don't know if I would compare him with RDA or Renan Barão either. Thank you, though, Sammy. I appreciate that. Eric Betts Fights, at Eric Betts Fights. Thoughts on Luana Pinheiro? What is her ceiling? Does she look like a future fade to you, or do you think she put it all together? I didn't watch that fight that closely, but she looked kind of like a fade because of her gas tank, but then she got like a second win, which commentary noted. It's hard to tell. Like, she still has some real power, so she could put things together, and if she turns that corner, which she still is young enough in her career to do, you could really pay for it on a bet, right? Sometimes you got the late corner turns, like an Andrea Lee. We'll see if it's an actual corner turn. But you know what I'm saying? Some of these girls, they always have that athletic potential. That can take you very far. So I would probably look to fade her more than I would look to bet her, but I would be careful about fading her because she's got potential, if that makes sense. Michelangelo, at Tapatio Combate 7. Yoel Alvarez's big win and potential matchups moving forward. Yeah, I kind of get my thoughts on that. I want him at welterweight, even though he's talking about going with the UFC PI. He's looking bigger every fight, and I'm not trying to hate on the guy. It's like, dude, don't kill your body and just fight your fucking normal weight class. You still have a lot of weight. He's still going to be huge for welterweight. So that's where I want him. Yanez versus O'Malley, Paiva winner. I wouldn't hate it. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it at all. It seems like one of the ones that could be possible between Yanez having enough buzz on him for O'Malley and the UFC to want that, because that's what it comes down to, right? Fairness. Thoughts on Pettis versus Kyoji? Kyoji. Oh, hello, Kyoji. Sean Connery's got some thoughts on Kyoji. Yeah, I don't know, man. Is that a fight? Yeah, I'm sure that's a fight, right? It's a title fight. I'm so bad. I actually covered Bellator. What the fuck? Sorry, folks. There's just so many fights. Offhand, huh? Oh no, it's not a title fight. What's his name? What's his name should be? Rafael Stotts should be in line for it, right? Anyways, but Pettis versus Kyoji, that's a really fun fight. That's a really fun fight, man. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who would even be favored, to be honest. I think the lines are going to be close. I would favor Horiguchi, but with Pettis' name value, I could see it being tight regardless. My early lean would be Kyoji. That left hook's going to be real potent. Maybe he can replicate what Benoit got. And then he's got the grappling to, survive and even upset if he's got to hurt, Pettis and Pettis shoots, right? That guillotine. Otherwise, I wouldn't see him submitting Pettis any other way, granted. But still, he's got potent ways to finish on the feet and on the floor. I'd probably pick Kyoji, but yeah. And the banger that is Font versus Aldo. I'm stoked for that one. Shout out to my guy, Die Hard MMA. I'm going to be kicking off the week with it's good that I'm going to have a week off to kind of, this week to kind of prep into it. So I'm not cramming too hard, but yeah, comeback week starts next week for you breakdown nuts that's tired of hearing me talk about all this other shit, which I don't blame you. I'm tired of talking about it too, for what it's worth. But I get to kick off that kick-ass week with my man Clint. I love Clint's cheesy sense of humor, man. I know. It's I don't get the TikTok stuff or whatever, but he'll post videos and shit that just make me fucking laugh, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Clint's a good dude. So yeah, I'll be talking with him on that card as well as the normal stuff. We'll be back to normal. I have my breakdowns for you, the usual places. Odds Checker Junkie here on the podcast. The MMA Madman, humor me, please. All right. With 135 being in a weird position at the moment, with the real champ currently a king in waiting, and the ex-champ in the mix who never lost his title in the cage, it's not likely to happen anytime soon. But let's say Peter Yan was still the undisputed champ and had beaten Sterling and Sanhagen. Do you think Rob Font would get the next shot by beating Jose Aldo? Yes. Outside of TJ Dillashaw, nobody else really deserves a shot at 135, in my honest opinion. I agree. Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I Man, Font versus Aldo. I'm excited to look into that. I don't want to look too far past that, so I don't want to give any thoughts on Aldo or Font versus Jan if that would be to happen, assuming Font can get past Aldo, which I'm not saying he will. I haven't jumped into that fight yet, so I'm excited to. I don't know where I'm going to go with that one. My man, Sizhawk, at Sizhawk, a.k.a. Jizzhawk. You know it's all love, brother. This is Hawk's OG listener. What is Pat Sabatini ceiling? Question mark. What he did to Tucker Lutz, a tough fighter in his own right, was very impressive. But is his striking good enough to be a top 10 fighter? Does he even need it to be with how good his grappling looks? His striking, I don't think is good enough to be. Could he be a top 10 fighter with the right matchups? Of course he could. But if I'm putting his striking up against people in the top 10, is it at that level? It has not shown to be. Not that it's bad. He can punch off the counter. He can punch going forward. He can throw actually pretty accurate spinning kicks because he grew up doing karate and Tang Soo Do and stuff as a kid before getting into wrestling and jiu-jitsu, which is his specialty. He's been able to get standing knockouts against tall guys, leave their head out there. So yeah, I mean, he could certainly be top 10 eventually. But his striking. It's probably the area that needs most work for obvious reasons, but also to set up his grappling. He still can set up off the back foot. He can still pressure when he needs to, push against the fence as we saw, shoot low singles, come up, get the underhook, retain, spin back to the cage when he needs to. However, he is a tough guy with a good gas tank, so I just wouldn't hate just him having more of a pressure-based game like I would with a lot of grapplers, right? As long as he doesn't turn into Phil Davis and gets stuck striking on the back foot, he can still grapple off his back foot and chain, thankfully. But yeah, he's I could see him being top 10. He would have to really turn a corner for me to push to see him in a top 5 matchup down the line, but possibly top 10. Pascal Roshan, it's about damn time. My man, I appreciate you. Same with Brian 3 at B32020, giving some love. Sammy Arnett says, why does Whaley get a negative response when wearing her flag, but is not the same with other fighters whose countries have also done atrocities? Valentina flaunts her red Kyrgyzstan flag when she walks out. Khamzat flaunts his Chechen flag, where the dictator encouraged execution of homosexual men, but these two get praise for it. Why can't we just appreciate what each fighter does on an individual level instead of criticizing them for the flag they walk out with? I agree. Not that fighters are beyond criticism for what they do or represent, but yeah, man. Again, I'm not even the dude in sports culture. I figure if anybody should be out of touch with this, it should be people like me. But, it's the sports dudes who can't get that, did we see countries, support their country on a flag all the time? But you're right. They're not consistent with how they treat those, even according to their own ideologies, which is, again, just the silly part, right? Because it's y'all are, the communist, the Cuban communist, the guy with the Russian sickle in his, the girl with the Kyrgyzstani flag, the guy, the Chechen dictator with the homosexual genocides. Yeah, you're right. All these different parts of the globe, all these different fighters, all these different genders and demographics. Yeah, they're just as, if not more tiable and way more vocal than Wei Li or any Chinese fighter, by the way, about their the only person that's ever gotten vocal was Li Jingliang when he was just some Chinese power. He was just and that could be a general thing, Although granted, well, who are you allowed to say Chinese power? If they say white power, I'm well, it's kind of venom power. Let's be honest here. People like Li traditionally not, so he wants to empower himself. But you get into that. Cain Velasquez has brown pride. If he had white pride, and it's just it's we get rehashing into this, and it's just this fucking beach ball in MMA. It's stupid. Yeah, I know. It's stupidly inconsistent, and that's what I point out. Same with the Rose stuff. She's communist. China's well, it's a different type of communism, especially if you consider what the CCP actually is today. Not defending them by any means, but if we're communism's the enemy. It was actually Russia that did it, and something called the Russo-Sino split in the late 50s. Their ideologies were so different and sick of being conflated for one another. That's where the actual Russo-Sino split actually came from. So it's like, yeah, but let's watch a 90s basketball documentary and use anti-Semitic slurs to a Chinese person, which was the better read than dead, actually, if you actually fucking contextualize it within Rose's history. Because again, I'm ignorant too, folks. And even though Rose did not show any care for Zhang's history or background, I did what she told Zhang Weili and everybody else to do, to look up Lithuanian history. That I did. And their problematic past with what was once a Jewish bastion society for many centuries. Jewish people were welcome there, and now they have a very sketchy history, and all you have to do is cite the stuff that Rose espouses and is quite proud of. But hey, whatever, right? We're just here to talk about fights. Hopefully I can get back to that now, folks. That was listener questions. Sorry for the long and eventful episode, but hey, now we can just go right into next week. We can go to business fights, and then maybe off weeks from now on, I can hit you guys with top fives. I was thinking about doing it this week, but I've been having trouble getting. I didn't reach out to a lot of people. I only reached out to a couple, and I don't know, I'm gonna try to get that for you. I hate bugging people to do my podcast because I'm like, who wants to do this shit? And people are busy too. They're legitimately busy, so I'm not offended. I just I want to bug people, man. But I'm gonna do my best to remind the masses who does the top 5 content, how it should be, and who does one of the few people who actually try to do historical content with these top 5 shows. I love them. They make me happy. They make you guys happy, and I really do. And I'm gonna make it a goal to just do one a month, and I'm starting that booking process now. So yeah, hopefully we'll be hitting you guys with some more good stuff. Oh, I put Rounders scene for betting perspective. I was watching Rounders, and there's this scene. I know I did. While on parlays, I know my man. Shouts to the Dogger Pass podcast, Paul and CJ. Those guys, obviously OGs who deserve all the credit in the world. Been killing it, but and obviously it's been a kind of a harder week for a lot of people lately, and I think what happens is when we all. Because it wasn't just me that did well. It wasn't just them to do it. What I notice is a lot of times when a lot of people, when a decent amount of us do well, the masses do well, right? When a lot of us do bad, a lot of us do bad, if that makes any sense for these cards. And there's a scene in Rounders that just made a lot of sense when Matt Damon's talking to Kanish, right? John Turturro's character. And he was just like, Matt Damon's going for the big plays, looking for that big money, wants the big sheet at the table, going to play a tournament, yada, yada. And Kanish is like, trying to talk some sense into him. And Matt Damon's like, oh, what the fuck do you know, Kanish? You know all the angles, huh? Look at you, always being conservative, safe, huh? Playing behind your little safe wall, and like giving him crap for being, more safe and conservative. And Kanish, he counters and he goes, hey, my kids eat. My kids are going to go to college. Because Kanish was a grinder. He was just grinding small profits, and was okay with that. And I think that's how I built a lot of my bankroll and a lot of my betting style. I've been taking a lot of snipe shots, if you noticed. I went big lately, and even toward the end of that cashing run there with some round props and parlays, and thankfully did okay with them, right? It was enough to cash out, like I said, at the beginning of the show. But it's like MMA betting, right? It's a matchup perspective. There is no set. Even if something feels like a trend and you've been cashing on what feels like a trend by following it as a trend, there really aren't those things. It's a volatile game. You really got to judge. You got to come into everything with a clean slate and judge it by the matchup. And how you want to bet is how you want to bet. If you want to be more like Matt Damon, go and be like Matt Damon, have some fun out there. If you want to be more like Kanish, be more like Kanish. What I'm saying is that I'm just trying to be smarter and just trying to be more like Kanish right now because I think that's better for me. If I'm confident, hopefully I have the power to make those, Matt Damon style plays. But yeah, I'm going to tighten up, polishing my sniper rifle. Really going to polish my approach here, folks. There's a lot of bullshit that distracted me. But once I get this fucking cast off next Thursday, baby. Oh, your boy is getting back. I'm getting back into shape, turning myself back into a fucking machine. Getting back to the old me, Gonna be healthy, happy, and just really, really focus on being happy, the content that I want to do and making that even better, and making more time on the side for other stuff, whether it be, family, girlfriend, outdoor stuff, all of it, right? Grappling. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty. Hobocop won. That was a fun fight. Oh, Hobocop Jungyoung Park kind of got to be on there. Fuck that. Hobocop Jungyoung Park, Brad. I'm going to put that for an honorable mention number 5. How much of a roller coaster ride was that fucking fight? Hobocop. Fucking, I'm not making fun of the Portuguese accent, folks. Like I said on the Vivi. That's actually his title. Brad uses it too. But the backstory that I came up with is that he's part of Bolsonaro's personal guard in between fights, and Hobocop cleans the streets of Sao Paulo from the filthy homeless. Right? It's terrible. The unhoused. Kidding, folks. Just kidding. Obviously, it's actually something that I probably shouldn't be joking about this day and age, because there's a lot more of that, and there's just a lot of bullshit and a lot of hate, folks. That's all I'm against. I just hate the bullshit. I hate the hate. That's all I want. Just less of that, please. Less of that. Let's check it. Let's call it out where it is, so we can get back to enjoying the fucking good things about life, because there's way too much hate. I don't think we need to be political to agree on that, and we can all agree on that without getting political, right? Right? There's a lot of hate speech. Let's just call it out. Instead of making excuses, just fucking call it out and move on with your day. Don't waste your calories defending racists or racial rhetoric. Don't be that person, folks. Don't be that person. Be good to people. Step back. Try to learn something. Love one another. Let's refresh so we can finish this year strong, kick ass, and always protect your neck.